We are still on 9.6, factoring polynomials using the umbrella and the box method. Because of the size of the file, which became big, I am chunking it into two parts. Question number 22 is an EOC kind of a question. So multiple choice, what is the correct factorization of 8x squared minus 10x plus 3? So let's work on this. So 8x squared minus 10x plus 3. So the first thing is the leading coefficient in this case is not a 1. So since it's an 8, you got to use the umbrella method. So using the umbrella and the box method combined. So I'm going to set up the box. And I'm going to highlight and show you that I'm putting in the 8 and the 3. So 8 and 3 going vertical. So now I'm also going to set up my x method. So the top becomes my add, the bottom becomes my multiply. So the middle number is going to be negative 10. And 8 times 3 is going to become 24. Highlighting and showing you what I did. The middle number is negative 10, goes in the middle, and 8 multiplied by 3 is going to give you a 24. So now you need to think, 24, what two numbers multiplied will give you a 24? So 8 and 3 will give you a 24, but that will not give you a 10. 6 and 4 will give you a 24, so I'm going to put a 6 and a 4. 6 multiplied by 4 gives you a 24, but 6 combined with a 4, 6 you add to a 4, which is not going to give you a negative 10. So I'm going to change my signs to a negative and a negative. Double checking things. Negative 6 multiplied by negative 4 gives you a 24. Negative 6, when you add to a negative 4, you are going to get a negative 10. So now the last step in this case is I'm going to fill up using the highlighter blue. So this number negative 6 and negative 4, I'm going to fill up in the last two spaces. So negative 6 and negative 4. So if I erase everything, so now the focus is on the first row. You're thinking, what two numbers multiplied, what numbers can go into 8 and 6? And the answer in this case will be 2. 2 can go in 8, 2 can also go in 6. So 2 multiplied by 4 will give you an 8. 2 multiplied by negative 3 will give you a negative 6. You got to watch out for the signs as well. 4 multiplied by negative 1 is going to give you a negative 4. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 1 is going to give you a positive 3, which works all throughout. So now the last step is to fill up the variables. The variable that they are using is x. So the first one gets the x. The first one going down gets the x. So my answer is going to look like 4x minus 3, which is this, and this. So open close parenthesis for the first one, open close parenthesis for the second one, 2x minus 1. And now you're going to look at the answer choices, 4x minus 3, 2x minus 1. The correct answer in this case is going to be 2x minus 1, 4x minus 3, which is B. Question number 65 is also an EOC kind of a question, and this question might take some multiple steps to get to the answer, so make sure that you have plenty of space. Copy the question as well. Now, one thing you need to understand is this is coming from 9.5, which is a previous lesson. We are on 9.6, so it's a review question. You are making pennants for a pep rally. Each pennant is a triangle with the dimensions shown, and it requires 180 square inches of fabric. So the area is given. So the area in this case is going to be 180 square inches. Anytime they're talking about square inches, they're talking about the area. Square inches. So this is a triangle. So the base is given, the height is given. The base and the length is given. So the length of the flag is given. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the formula. So the formula for the triangle, for the area of the triangle will be base multiplied by height divided by 2 is equal to 180. So this is a formula to find the area of the triangle, and the area they have given it to be equal to 180. So now I'm going to substitute the first thing, B and H, I want to get rid of the 2. So the 2 on the denominator is bothering. So I'm going to do the opposite, which is I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on this side and multiply by 2 on this side. So the 2 and the 2 cancel out, and you get BH equals 180 multiplied by 2 is going to be 360. So once you get the formula to look as simple as this, now you're looking at the base. The base is x minus 32. So I'm going to write my b is x minus 32, and my height or my length in this case is x minus 14. I'm going to substitute the numbers in the correct place. So b becomes x minus 32. H becomes x minus 14 equals 360. Now let's focus on the left side. So for the left side, I'm going to use the table method. So I'm going to write x and minus 32, x and minus 14, split them apart, dot. So let's multiply. This is for the left side. The left side implying this. I'm focusing on this. So I'm going to get x multiplied by x is going to be x squared. X multiplied by negative 14 is going to give me negative 14x. X multiplied by negative 32 is going to be negative 32x. And negative 14 multiplied by negative 32, use your calculator. And you're going to get 448. So once you get this one, this becomes part of the solution for the left side. And you need to combine these two because they are both the x's. So the final answer is going to look like x squared. Combining negative 14 and negative 32, you're going to get negative 46x plus 448. So this is all for the left side. So this is all for the left side, which is this. So x minus 32 multiplied by x minus 14 is going to give you x squared minus 46x plus 448. So you still have equal to 360 to deal with. So now I'm going to erase everything. So if I were to take this, let me erase everything. So now you got x squared minus 46x plus 448 equals 360. Now this is a polynomial. You cannot solve a polynomial unless you have something equal to 0. Keep that in mind. If you want to find the roots of the polynomial, or if you want to solve the polynomial, it should be set to 0. So that means this 360 cannot be on the right side. So you're going to do minus 360 on the left and minus 360 on the right. You're going to write it below the number. So 360 and minus 360 is going to give you a 0, which is what you need. So the remaining just drops down, minus 46x plus 448 minus 360. Use your calculator and you're going to get 88. So now you find the roots. You find the roots of the polynomial or solve the polynomial. Keep in mind, you cannot solve it unless you set it up to a 0. So now we are looking at x squared. So the leading coefficient, in this case, there is nothing, which means that's just a 1. So you're going to use just the x method, which is what you learned in the previous lesson. So just using the x method, which is going to be your add and multiply. So the middle number, in this case, negative 46, just drops down. And 88 is just going to go on the bottom. So you're thinking what two number multiplied is going to give you 88. 44 and 2 gives you 88, and 44 plus 2 gives you 46. But you need a negative 46, so put a negative in a negative and check again. Negative 44 multiplied by negative 2 gives you positive 88. Negative 44 you add to a negative 2, it's going to give you a negative 46, which works. So now the last step is x is your variable, so x minus 44 is 1 and x minus 2 is another 1. So now the question is asking you what is the length of the pendant. So the length of the pendant is what you need to find. Let me erase everything. So I'm going to write x minus 44. So x minus 44, set it up to 0. X minus 2, set it up to a 0. Solve. So plus 44 on both sides. cancel, you get x equals 44. And on the right side, you got plus 2, cancel, x equals 2. So your x can either be a 44 or it can be a 2. So x can either be a 44 or x can be either a 2. So now they're asking you for the length of the pennant. So the length of the pennant is nothing but this. So this is from here to here is the length. So if you take 2, you're going to get a negative answer for your length, which is not possible in the real world. So obviously this is out of the case. So this is why this question becomes a really important university question. So watch this. So the length of the pennant is x minus 14. So if you take x minus 14 and if you try to use 2 as your x, substitute 2, your answer is going to come up as negative 12. You cannot measure negative 12 in the length. So obviously your x has to be 44. So the length in this case is nothing but x minus 14. Substitute your x as 44. 44 minus 14 is going to give you 30 inches. And 30 inches in this case is C, which is the answer. You really want to pause the video, rewind this video all the way to the beginning, and rewatch question number 65 again. Your EOC question will look something similar.